Team, how we doing? Who's ready to get back to the trading action? I was able to bounce back into the green yesterday. Lol's getting me right back up. Laugh out loud, or lol, whatever way you want to call it. I'll tell you one thing. I'm ready to get back into the green and continue that prop account going, continue the small account going, and seeing if we can stay into the green today because we're already leaking here. Will we cut down today or will we bounce back? Find out right here on live trading.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. I mean, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, let's bring on the boys. We got Ryan Faluno. We got Zunaid in the house, ready to get after this market, and we'll see if we can get into the green. You guys know it. We'll keep bouncing. Zunaid had a decent day yesterday. Not bad. We'll talk a little bit about that during the show, and we'll definitely take a look to see if we see some continued downside action, right? I'm going to really quickly run through my swings like I usually do, and then we'll take a look at some trading setups out there. I saw someone in the chat like Matthew saying, first time waking up in a while with no swings. Feels weird. I know how that can feel, Matthew. Sometimes you just hold so many positions, and then one day you wake up and you're like, oh, man, there's just nothing there. Well, time to open some new ones, right? Well, you'll find them out there, Matthew. Wish you the best today. I'm going to take a look at some of the ones that I took yesterday. Home Depot, one of the best ones. Took this one at 303.88 during this show. Up there now towards 308.70s. Not looking too bad on this one. Up a significant amount. Going to look for a little bit of a push through 310s and then look to take some profits. We'll see if this pulls back today. Definitely going to hold off of kind of that 300 level. So I'm risking about 3 points to eventually make more than 7. I'll do that anytime. Let's see what happens on Home Depot, see if that can go higher. Starbucks short is one that I opened up yesterday towards the close. We'll see what happens on this one. Can this one go right back down? I'm going to give it a test towards 99. Anything above 100, I'll definitely be getting out. Looking for a cut down through 97 on Starbucks, going down maybe towards like 95, 94. We'll see what happens there on Starbucks to see if we take a hit today. Of course, still got the oil trades on. We'll see if those go down. They are bouncing a little bit here in the pre-market. They were down there on XOM towards 103.65. Don't want to see that above 105 today. It could go towards 106. We'll see what happens there on ExxonMobil if oil does go higher. Still got the last piece of Adobe continuing to work. We'll see if I ever get stopped out on that. I got 489 for that. And then now going to go ahead and kick it to my man Ryan to see what he's looking at in the market.
All right, so SPY continuing its downward move, at least in theory. We'll see if it actually cracks and breaks. Again, some of the levels that I'd like SPY to come into would correspond with these moving averages. Right now, we have the 500-day and the 50-day almost at the same spot. We'll see if we end up getting this continuation here. I see snow is up today, so if Jay Rice, if you're out there, snow from yesterday, that's also up here today. Just be interesting to see where tech goes. I mean, Apple's looking a little strong here in the pre-market. We'll see if that holds up. But for the overall market, I'm looking to see, do we continue a downside move? First thing we'd really need to do is break the bottom of this candle. So yesterday's low. We're not far away, so we'll see if we end up getting it. Now, in the meantime, while we're waiting for the market to figure out exactly what it's going to do, there have been plenty of penny plays, easy for me to say. And we're going to keep looking at some of those here. So first one here is going to be Drama. Jay Wild, I know that you had mentioned this one. Spot on. Good spot here. I totally agree. Drama, big level, upside level here, going to be 233. Now we're extended from that. We're actually below the VWAP. VWAP at 204, current stock price at 190. Really looks like it's kind of holding this 180 area. So Drama, we want to see if we can actually time this, get in with a nice momentum move to the upside. We'll see if that is, or if that materializes today, excuse me. Next on the list is going to be BDTX. This is Black Diamond Therapeutics. We do have a catalyst here today on Black Diamond Therapeutics. Shares are trading higher after the company announced initial dose escalation data demonstrated anti-tumor activity in BDTX 1535 in non-small cell lung cancer patients across EGFR mutation families. Non-small cell lung cancer is what my dad suffered from, so a little bit of a personal thing here for me. As far as the actual stock here, we've really kind of pushed up into this 440, 450 resistance area. We're kind of flagging between 410 and 450. Now we are extended away from the VWAP, excuse me. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have multiple pulls back to the VWAP here today, but that might give us some good trading opportunities. We'll see. This might want to run out of the gate. Whenever you get cancer headlines in some of these PRs, stocks can really go crazy. Stock's already up 138% here this morning, so we want to be careful purchasing a stock that is extended by so much. In accordance with what's been working recently, probably better off buying pullbacks if in fact we get it. We'll try and be patient. Got a lot of targets here this morning, so we'll see what provides the best possible setup. Next one on the list is going to be CNTG. And as you can see here, we have another catalyst. CNTG popped as high as 171. It's come all the way back down to about this 110 handle, doing a fairly decent job holding that. We are below the VWAP here. Catalyst today, Centogene shares are trading higher after the company and Lifera found a Saudi Arabian joint venture. Under the terms of the collaboration, the company will receive $30 million mandatory convertible loan from Litera. So CNTG getting a little bit of an investment. And we'll see if this ends up playing or ends up giving us plays here today. It's already given us a big move up and a big move down. So we've carved out a pretty decent range. If we get any type of setup here where we can act on the next move, we'll go ahead and do that. Next here is going to be ACIU, and this is AC Immune, another catalyst here on this stock. We did pop as high as 274, I believe was the high, 273, excuse me. We've come all the way back down. Now we're actually close to VWAP here, but we're still beneath it. So we'll move through VWAP here, might set up alongside trade. AC Immune shares are trading higher after the company received FDA fast track designation for anti-amyloid beta activity immunotherapy, ACI 24.060 for Alzheimer's disease. So we've got cancer PR, Alzheimer's PR, and two of these biotechs here this morning. To me, that sure seems like that's a theme. Looking at the rest of the movers list, we do have AREB. I feel like we've traded this one here before. This did spike as high as almost 687. It looks like is your high print there. It's come all the way back down beneath the VWAP here. Looking at the news here, we did have news yesterday, but I don't see anything new here today. Was that stock split news? Yeah, 1 for 25 reverse stock split. So very much like meds, maybe we'll get a move here on this out of the gate. Lucid up here today, just marginally. Neo up here. Of course, we got news on Ride, which is Lordstown Motors declaring bankruptcy. As you can see here, Ride really selling off. Now, a couple of things with these bankruptcy stocks. We've seen some of these bounce in the past. It doesn't really seem to make sense. The stock declares bankruptcy, trades up 20%. Not the case here with Lordstown, but let's see if we do get a bounce when this market opens. To be honest, given some of the other targets that we have here today, I probably wouldn't even mess around with this one, but this one does get mentioned quite a bit here, so figured we'd mention it. I'm going to toss it to you, Zunaid, here, but Matthew, really quick, wants to take a look at EVTX. This is another therapeutic company. This is going to be for you penny players here. We're up a little bit. And we're kind of trading sideways here. We do have a catalyst, though. Avalo Therapeutic shares are trading lower on continued downward momentum after the company yesterday announced its phase 2 peak trial in patients with non-eosinophilic asthma missed its primary endpoint. So it looks like we had a primary endpoint missed here. ATVX holding up nicely. So I guess let's see if we get any volume moves in here, but that's what's going on. Zunaid, what do you got on today? I don't see the screen being shared, so I'm not sure if I can throw you.
Oh, oops. That's why.
That's what happens when we're having fun on a Tuesday morning.
There you go. There you go. All right, sweet. So let's take a look. By the way, OKC, are you in the chat? Because you said you'd come on today, and I wanted to see what you got for me today. Another reason is because I believe you said that my lottos on 420 were not the way to go. Well, here you go. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 15-minute chart from yesterday, and then we'll talk about the game plan for today. So here is the 420 level that we wanted. We went ahead and cracked it, had the retest, it failed, and then down you went. What is that, about 19 points to the downside? So those lottos that I took at 150, I went ahead and sold my last piece at like $3. They went all the way, I think, to about $6 or $7. So that's like a 4 or 5%, 400% gainer or so in a day. And then you also had Tesla, which we took some puts at the break of 250. So there's a break of 250. You had the retest, failed, and to the downside you went, and that's another 9 points that you got. That was another multi-gainer right there. So I promise you, OKC, we don't always win, but there's always a theory behind why we take a trade, and when it pays out, it pays out. So let's go ahead and see what the game plan is coming into today. I don't necessarily have the greatest way to go ahead and trade this like I did yesterday on the break and the patience of the 250, unless we go ahead and try to come back and test this 248.26 or the 250 area. This would kind of be the zone where I'd want to kind of go short. Obviously, the closer to 250, the better, in my opinion. But for now, I'm going to hang tight, see how things play out. Maybe we do go ahead and get a trend line break, kind of like we did later in the afternoon, which we got a chance to play. So break, retest to the downside it came. That's kind of what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. See if I get that opportunity in a Tesla like we did yesterday. Coming back to this right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this trade. But something I wanted to point out, don't pay attention to the trade itself, but let me go to the 15 minutes. So if you guys remember yesterday, this is kind of like the channel that I had pointed out, right? So you get the 70 to the top side, you had 68, 78, and then you had finally a break, and then you had the retest, and it just kind of completely failed. And now you have a pop up, you have a retest, and it's holding on to support at the moment, which is why I'm in the trade to see if we can get a little bit of a move and capture a couple $100. So, but full disclosure though, this is on the prop firm account. This is not my real money account. I have another broker where I go ahead and do that. So I just want to be fully transparent, but I wanted to talk about why I took the trade, the channels, and looking left to plan out the way you're going to trade to the right. Let's go ahead and also take a look at the MES. Yesterday, we took this trade live, and it worked out for us because you can see on this trend line, right? 1, 2, and on that third touch, we went ahead and went short. And you can see a nice little move that we got. We captured, I think I got about 10 points of this. Obviously, it went 20 points or so. Did not get the whole move, but we did capture a little bit. So for me, again, waiting. Do we go ahead and test this trend line again? If we do, I will go short and give it about a 6-point breathing room, a 6-point stop loss, and see if it wants to come right back down and see how that fourth test works out. If it does pop, obviously we'll get out, and then we'll see if we want to get into the long side on a breakout type situation. But if y'all did go ahead and make money on the NVIDIA puts or the Tesla puts from yesterday's short, or even the SPY puts from this trend line, smash a 1 in the chat so we know if y'all were able to bank or not. But let's see what else there is to keep an eye on. Apple's going to be 1 for sure. If we can go ahead and break this 185, I would be interested in grabbing some puts, and the same reason, right? So you had resistance, popped up, support. So like now, what do we do? Are we going to go ahead and kind of break this to the downside? Or are we going to try to hold on to support and move to the upside? That's what I want to keep an eye on. But I do have my alert set at 185. My targets would be about 184, and then leave a runner to see if we can touch 183s or so. Let's see what else we've got in terms of Tesla. We talked about that. NVIDIA, we talked about it. Same kind of scenario. Don't really have the best game plan. Maybe this 412 could hold on as resistance. And here we go. Let's see how things play out for us. All right. Let's see what we've got.
BDTX pulling off the open here. If it loses 4, that'd be something to note. Not in it, by the way. No position.
Black diamond. I used to work at a jewelry wholesaler, and those black diamonds looked beautiful.
420 seems to be the spot it's stopping at so far. There it goes through and higher on BDTX. And
morning,
right back
Judge.
through. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to wait. That was a fast move there on BDTX.
All right, let's see what else we've got. Unity. Nice. Yep, Unity with the pop. Come on. Are you going to go ahead? Matter of fact, can I see if I can...
A number of the chat members mentioning Unity here. Unity popping out of the open. First move here is up. We're actually up. Unity shares trading higher if the company announced a new AI marketplace, and Wells Fargo initiated coverage on the stock with an overweight rating and a $48 price target. So Unity clearly reacting to that. First move here is up. Grats if you guys have it. Make sure you trim into this move.
Oh, we might be running into some resistance on the 360s on the Qs. Let me see if I can play that and how I want to play that. Let's see if there's...
Here goes Tivik Health, TIVC, right through that pre-market high. Was any of you guys, were any of you penny players watching this? I couldn't remember. 18s now on TIVC.
Order out
Pro
to cover
mentioning
some.
Ride. Sorry.
Order out to cover some Home Depot. Just gonna cover some 310s already.
Ride halted, by the way, to the upside here, 151.
Starbucks heading down already right out the gates. That's looking good for me. We'll see if that VWAP fades. And I do want to talk a little bit more about the VWAP today. I know that we had a lot of questions in pre-market prep about the VWAP. We talk about the VWAP often on here, but if you guys have any questions, feel free. I will talk about a strategy or two later on the day. We can get into it. I could even bring in some learning lessons so you guys can understand the VWAP a little more.
Let's go. Oh, what a smackdown on Unity. Wow.
Starbucks now down, looking good. It has already gone to 98.10, so looking good there in Starbucks.
On Unity, I'm going to take a little bit of a shot at it. Let's see if I can go ahead and get filled. Let you know my fills.
CNTG trading up to its VWAP here. It looks like I missed this bounce.
I got filled on Unity at 38.89s. Stop loss for me is going to be about 38.35.
We'll see if it rejects VWAP here for the 104. Or does it go to 104.50s above?
I do expect Tesla to have a little bit of a bounce from the previous close. Also, taking a look at the NQ. Here, let me go and quickly share my charts and I'll give it back. So here's a trend line that I've got. 0.1, 2, 3, 4, and right on that fifth one right now, this morning, we got a nice little pop. So I would love to go short if we get a break of this trend line on the 5. I will go ahead and add a couple of contracts. And if we break it on the 15, I will add some more. And look at that. What a beautiful bounce from that trend line. Unity, now we're up about 30 cents, 36 cents. Go ahead and close this out if you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and hang tight until we can go ahead and possibly get to 40. So I'm risking about 30 bucks. Excuse me, I'm risking about 60 cents, but I'm looking to make a bit more than $1 on this one here. But feel free to scale out, do what you got to do. What's going on, Shaw? Welcome to the show.
All right, looking for Starbucks to come back and then maybe get into some of that. Looking around, Qs overall, getting a nice little uplift here today. Now starting to push strong. We'll see if technology can really start taking the lead in the sectors right now. Consumer cyclical and technology leading. And then energy is actually on the downside. So that doesn't look too bad here. Now it faded away from that 104 on XOM. Looking good for it to come down here for a VWAP fade. We'll talk a little bit more about strategies like this. You can see XOM comes right back. First break. Big bar volume comes back to the VWAP, gets rejected there. We'll see if it goes through 103.50s here.
And Unity continues to go.
Unity.
Went as high as 50 cent of a gain for us, but we're not selling till we get to 40. And like 39.80-ish, give or take.
Gotta be careful here as the Qs are ripping higher. So one of the things is Starbucks is in the Qs, so you got to be a little bit careful as that's ripping higher. If the Qs just rip today, Starbucks probably ain't going to go down. So I got to be a little bit careful here as it's coming back to VWAP. We do want to get short, but I don't need to get short right now as the Qs are ripping higher.
Yeah, bro, that's exactly the game plan. Is right before 40. Usually I like to sell about 5 to 10 cents before 40, as the whole number resistance can be a pain.
Trying some CNTG here. See if this goes higher towards the VWAP. I'm going to have a tight stop on this, so if it doesn't work, I'll be out of it. CNTG. I will look at CCL in a little bit here, Buglog. Waiting to see if CNTG can move through the 130 area here.
American now making a move to 17, man. I sold that swing way too early. Should have just kept it from 14.
CNTG new highs here. See if we go higher. Come on, CNTG. Pop and rip. They're walking a bit up here in CNTG. Stopping at 134 here, a little size. They took it. A little bit more size at 135 on CNTG.
Just get up to that 360, then reject there. Now starting to come back down.
Not going to let CNTG go red on me here. And it just went red on me. Never mind. Couldn't get my stop set quick enough.
Added some more on Unity. Unity. Man, what a beautiful. Oh, stopped out on the oil trade on the prop firm. Thankfully, the real money
CNTG off here until it sets up again. Here it goes. It's going to go higher. That was a bad sell, I think. Felt a little heavy there, but we can always rebuy this too. Here it is, 135. This was the spot break I wanted to see. Stopping there. And they're adding more shares. So 135 going to be the spot on CNTG.
I see you boys right out the gates, killing it, doing your
Keep
thing.
an eye on.
I went pretty conservative out of the gate here because what I'd rather do is I'd rather wait for and hit something that's a little bit bigger. This is kind of all over the place. Big pull coming back here. 135 still the spot. CNTG.
Unity about 5 cents away from the new highs. Feel free to take gains if you would like. You've got Apple approaching the 187 level, which you can expect to see a little bit of resistance possibly. If you go ahead and look left, you had it pop support, then it tried to act as a resistance, and it did so successfully. So now you can expect maybe a little bit of consolidation if you believe this is going to go higher. But on Unity, we are looking to make a high of day, just a couple of pennies away. If you're in this trade, please feel free to scale out. Like I said, I added my position on the dip, and I will look to sell probably around here, actually. Oh, there goes Unity high a day. I'm going to go ahead and sell half my size. Sold at 39.68. I am out half, and the remaining half of my half, I will look to sell around 39.90s, and then the rest, I'll just leave it with a stop loss of break even.
Meta pulling back real quickly. It did a 240, 284 kind of bull trap. Now back down to 281.60. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I think that could come down today. Of course, I've been hit with Meta on the short side before, so I got to be careful here. But we'll see if the market starts to turn around here and the Qs go right back through 359.
Any thoughts on coin?
Real quick here, Crow saying BDTX bloodbath, nothing but red candles on BDTX. Also, Buglog was talking about CCL here. CCL up off that pullback yesterday. Really what it needs to do is clear out this 1505 spot. This would have been the intraday high after the bounce on CCL.
Oh, boy. I just saw that we have 420 people watching. Appreciate that.
IRNT moving up towards the VWAP, an IRNT for you penny players.
Oh.
Here's the BDTX chart. You can see coming back down to 345. See if we get a bounce there. This one looking really rough. CNTG might be taking out that high again here. Watch this one. Crow still thinks this goes here.
Amazon, real quick. Amazon, you've got the 145 calls coming in on the ask, expiring September 15th, approximately $3 million worth, just shy. But that's 145 calls on Amazon, expiring September 15th, approximately $3 million worth. Let's see what Amazon looks like and where our stops would be if we wanted to get in on this one. And I promise I will do my best to come back on coin. I am going to go ahead. Do I want to risk 100 on it?
CNTG did take that high out, by the way.
But I see stocks asking strong here.
I'm going to take a stab at Amazon real quick. As soon as that order flow came out, I had my orders out there. Stop loss for me is going to be the break of 127, but I am going to go ahead and get some Amazon. Where would I try to sell it? I just want to scalp this one, to be honest. Right below VWAP, I would look to get out probably. Do I want to get out here? Do I want to be greedy? All right, I'm just gonna get out. All right, I'm out of Amazon. So I got in at, where did I get in? I have to go back and look at my average. I got in at 127.82, sold at 128.18, and that's because of the flow that came in. Here's the game plan. I do believe this goes higher. Want to see it go above VWAP, hold, and then we can go ahead and take it. And then I can add some size once it breaks 129. But
AREB here, this was that reverse split that was on our list here. This is moving up here. No position. This is very, very thinly traded now with the new float. But AREB strong here. Remember, we saw a move like this on meds a couple of days ago.
There's Amazon continuing to go. Nice.
Still no day trades for me, guys. I'm just looking at XOM here. I'm looking at Starbucks, looking for shorts in XOM. Of course, I already have the swing short, but I wouldn't mind taking a short today if it could cut right back through 104s. Chevron closed really ugly also. That's right back up above VWAP. We'll see what happens on the stock market today. Home Depot just kind of holding VWAP right now. It could take another leg higher. Went to 311.
Amazon continues to march higher. Let's go.
BDTX struggling to hold 350 here, which would have been a possible bounce spot.
Tesla with 3 tops there in the 244 area. We'll see if that's able to hold now and get back up through 245. That looks interesting for me.
There's Amazon. There's Amazon.
And that's already cracking. There
EMVX might be doing for a high a day break and run. Smoke Tuna taking a look at UTRS. That's what, Utters, right? That's what we're calling it, Minerva. That's a penny stock here. It looks like that's pushing a little bit. Also taking a look at View from Smoke Tuna. Multiple penny stocks here. Don't see volume in these yet. CNTG pulling back here. ACIU rejected at the VWAP. So a lot of these stocks on our list really kind of traded up to resistance points. CNTG went above by a couple of cents, but then pulled. We'll see if that sets up again. Here's ENVX looking like this is trying to take high a day on EMVX.
Unity sold the 1/4, one more piece, and now I only have 50 shares remaining, I believe. But there's Unity to the upside. Hopefully
long the SQQQs. I'm long SQQQs on the prop. Got 300 at 2050s. Let's see, 2052s. Yeah, 2052s.
ACIU breaking through the VWAP here at 230. Coming back to the VWAP.
All right, buying a little bit more. SQQQ's now going to risk really tight here off to kind of the 2045. All right, took there some SQQQs.
I'm trying a little ACIU here at 230.
Starbucks went up to 98.83s, now back to VWAP. Keeping an eye also on Meta.
Oh, wow. Kara ripping here, too. CNTG maybe bouncing.
Took a small hit there on the SQQQs. Maybe didn't risk enough there, but took a little hit there.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Hopefully you're able to bank on it as well.
Ah, that little wick through. The wicks are tricks, man. It wicked me out there on the Qs. It's right back up there to 2054. Looks good there for the upside break, but we'll see if it gets it or not. It's a good looking chart there. Just wicked me out right there on that little wick through towards 43. Just that little wick got me there. We'll see if it goes towards 2060 here.
Where's Amazon? Amazon coming to test the support area. Kind of wants me to take a shot at it, so I will. I'm going to get right back into Amazon. Probably should have never sold, but I just want to take the gains. I got back in at 128.37. Stop loss for me will be low of day.
Still in ACIU here. Really did, when it came back to its VWAP, it didn't bounce again. It kind of went lower. So waiting to see if this takes the next leg lower. I'll cut it before it becomes a big loss. If it bounces through, might even consider adding if we get a momentum push here on ACIU.
Oh, come on, Amazon. Come on, Amazon. To the downside, Amazon.
All right, getting a little bit of ExxonMobil short there. Going to try to add as I start developing this position. It's a day trade style off the prop.
CNTG looking like it's continuing its bounce here after that pullback. See if it can get back to that VWAP. That would be the first mile marker. ACIU holding here right below its VWAP. If it breaks down, it probably loses the strength to go back through it. That would be an exit trigger to book a small loss.
Went ahead and added again on Amazon. My stop loss now. So my average price is about 128.20s. My stop loss is 127.70s on Amazon. I had multiple buys on this one. Hopefully it pays off. AHI. Not a type of ticker that I can trade personally.
He is moving. Did I see that in the chat?
Is that AHI?
You're looking at yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's at the highs here. Interesting.
By the way, my plan on Unity. So I've got 50 shares remaining. My game plan now is going to be if it wants to go ahead and break this 40, which, hello, thank you for doing that. And if it kind of bases around 40, then I know where my stop loss would be. I will go ahead and add into the position as well. But for now, hanging on to the 50 shares that I have remaining. If it wants to continue making its move higher, splendid. My stop loss is at break even. Nonetheless, let's go back to Amazon because that's where my biggest position is at the moment. It's got me a little freaked out. I'm not going to lie.
All right, XOM cracking right back below 104s. Now anything back through 104s, I'll look to add on this position on XOM. Now starting to get into the green here. Looking to add on this one on pullbacks.
Come on, Amazon. Just go ahead and knock on the doors of 129s. Game plan for me, by the way, on Amazon is to sell around the 128.85s, at least half the size, then another half around 129.50s, and then 130. So those are the 1, 2, and 3 targets that I currently have on Amazon. Again, my average price is 128.20.
AUUD, this is the penny stock. Looks like this is setting up here on a potential move through VWAP on AUUD. I see a number of people in the chat talking about that. ENVX, this actually did take out the high and kept going. A little bit stronger on its second attempt. Also got a back test in there. This would have been a nice one to be in. Still watching ACIU here, which is kind of right back to its VWAP. How's CCL continuing its move up? And then we are actually above that spot that we talked about earlier, Bug Log. I think you're in this to the long side. Ron, good to see you this morning. Unity.
Yeah.
Unity rolling here. Tesla calls coming in.
Qs want to
looks
go
like.
higher here. Looks like it. We'll see if it pushes.
Let's go, boys.
CNTG might not be done for the day. I know we struggled a little here on a breakout, but maybe keep this on the watch list. You don't need to stay in it, but at least keep it on the watch list. Kara, big strong move out of the gate here. This would have been the one to play. It looks like instead of CNTG, we got a little bit more of a run here on Kara. Nice little back test to that VWAP as well. Smoke Tuna calling out MLTX. This was a spready mover from yesterday. Let's see how we're doing here today. Nice little move off the lows, 3-point move off the lows. Really what I'd like to see here, Smoke Tuna, is for this to get above 49. I think if we get above 49, we can clear out a lot of this sideways trading from yesterday and maybe take our next move higher. That's MLTX. That was an issue from yesterday.
I'm having a bit of a tough time with my emotions on this Amazon trade because I'm a little bit oversized, and so every penny freaks me out.
Buglog saying he's trying to get me to swing CCL. Man, I don't feel good enough about the boats to swing that.
I can't swing it up here. That's just a little bit way too hard for me now.
WK, thank you. I've got one left here. He's having a really good morning, singing to himself in his mirror right now.
Do they start chirping at a certain time?
Yeah, I mean, it's really as soon as they wake up, they start talking. I cover them at night. Well, him. I cover him at night with like a tablecloth type thing.
Right.
When I pull it off, I fill up his food and give him fresh water, and normally right then he starts singing. Right now I've got the window open, so he's singing to the birds outside, dancing around a little.
Nice.
Yeah,
By the way, we're
this morning.
now Amazon at 128.73. So now our 1-to-1 has been met. We're about 60 cents. Excuse me, I lied. About 50 cents higher from our entry. I will look to close some here in the 80s. Let me go ahead and back this off here. Cancel this one. Sell that. Oh man, 77s? Yeah, whatever. All right, sold half of it at 128.74. So Amazon half out.
Just keeping with these oil trade for right now. I'll look for other trades as I'm out of this one, but I'll try to just stay with this one for now. I am seeing the SPY look like it wants an up move, but we'll see what happens.
That's so funny. I went ahead and sold half my size, and my average price went from 128.20s to 128.03s because I guess I had added up when the move was happening. So cool. All right, I'll take that. But nonetheless, though, 100%, I would recommend selling out or scaling out here as you are hitting a little bit of resistance. If you go ahead and look left, it had a tough time. It held on a support, then it cracked. Now we're having a tough time getting over it. So just, FYI. Would hate to see y'all have this trade go red on you if you did take it based on your risk parameters.
All right, now starting to get a nice little turn to the downside there on XOM. Just want to see us start breaking down here through the 103.50s. Could also go after this with drip for a move above 15s.
ACIU broke, took the next leg down here. I was doing work, so I didn't stop out. But I'm okay. Still, we'll see if this breaks lower or bounces. Yeah, Smoke Tuna, it couldn't take the VWAP out. That is the telltale sign. I should have probably stopped here. And we'll see if it bounces a little bit. This is where it ripped last time when it had that volume. So we'll see.
No surprise, Qs are having a tough time staying above 360. If you go ahead and look left, you can see that's where you had a little bit of support, which turned into resistance once, twice, 3, 4, 5. But if we can go ahead and get over this, we can have a nice little march up to the 61s. Trend line holding strong. I expect a little bit of resistance around this 14,983 on the NASDAQ futures. Unity with a slight pullback, tested VWAP. Hey. All right, we'll go ahead and do that later.
I want to smack some more Exxon Mobil, but I'm holding off right here to see if I can get a attempt towards 104.
Amazon now about 25 cents cheaper than when we sold it for gains. Do what you want with it. I will not be adding it because I already had the nice chunk that made me a little anxious.
ORGN might be curling here on ORGN. That might take us back up to the VWAP. No position on this, just kind of watching it right now. Still managing my poor trade in ACIU. Sorry, Zunid.
We're good. I was just answering this question. Does Moomoo allow stop loss in paper trading accounts? I would be very surprised if they did not allow that. But Mitch, if you have any insights on that, as you're
yeah, of course,
let us know.
Definitely should. I'll show you guys if you are using your paper account there. There is a certain section to go into. I'm sure you can find that right here in the portfolio there, right? And so you can go into a little bit of some paper trading here, and then try to go ahead and see what you can do. If you're having problems with stops, I would definitely communicate out there to them. I haven't done the paper trading on there, but I do it all the time through their order form. But definitely let me know if you're still having issues with that on the paper trading. I could definitely take a look into it. I just haven't used it before, right? So you see,
neither have I. I just use the regular paper trading, or the regular trading, excuse me.
XPEV giving me an alert here. So if you guys are looking for a Chinese stock that's getting a nice little lift today, there's a nice little lift off. I've been waiting for this stock to make a move. I looked for a move back through 10. It went through 10, right on the dot, went to 990s, now back up to 1068. Why do I think China EVs are getting a lift? Is because of tax mentions. Tax mentions are going to give them a little bit of a push. XPEV does not look too bad at all. Lowell's doesn't look too bad either. It was right there. Look at XPEV getting a nice little lift. I'm taking a look at Chinese EVs, NIO getting a lift, LI getting a lift. We'll see if they can keep pushing. All right, definitely. Let's see what's going on here in XOM. I'm trying to focus in on this day trade and just nail this down here, but it shouldn't get back above that 104. Now it should kind of crack through. I'm thinking about just taking a little bit more here and then just risking off 104. Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do here. I took a little bit more. I'm at 103.96, and I'm just going to risk right here off of 104s just for a 4-cent risk here for the real breakdown through the 103.75s on XOM. Let me get my OBS up so I can get a little extra chart up here.
Amazon bouncing from VWAP. That's what we like to see. A little VWAP touch on the 5. And then now let's break it. Let's break it.
All right, so this is my outlook for XOM, guys. Of course, I've been just shorting into this, looking for this now to really break through that 103.75, 103.50s, and go lower. We'll see if it goes through. Back above VWAP 104s, that's where I got to be careful.
Here's Unity looking to break 41 some more. Did I send that email? Yes, I did.
Yeah, I know that. I know they caught that Unity news. That definitely helped it today.
$84 divided by...
Looking to see if this could break the 75s. If it comes right back up into the 90s, I'll put out my stop there. But looking to see if we can break it. We're right on the support of 78.
ACIU back to 230 here. Up, they just pulled it off. That was right at the spot on 230. Let's see if ACIU can go through here. Smoke Tuna, I think if we get rejected here, we pretty much, it's a no-go, right? If this VWAP actually moved down a cent here because of the trading beneath it. But if we get rejected here, I think that this is probably a no-go unless something else happens, unless we get a big volume pop later in the day. We'll see. Decision point is right here on ACIU. 230, they just took it. Here we go. Come on, let's push a little bit higher here. 231, 232. Let's go. 235. Here we go. Let's go. Taking it off. Nice. Finally.
All done.
That was a frustrating one. Yeah, I actually added on that too while it was down because it was unable to break that 219. So I added it 220. So nice little flip there. Nice little scalp there. Having another decent morning out of the gate.
Well
That's what I
done.
like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear.
I'll tell you what, the one thing that really gets the holding stocks that go against you, that doesn't, I mean, unless I'm oversized, that doesn't really mess with my emotions anymore. I've seen it so many times by now that it's not really a big deal. But when I get a trade that goes against me and then I add and end up making profit for it, I feel like I worked harder for that single trade. And it gives me more of like, you saw the right thing. It's almost as if it's a confidence boost. I mean, I made $110 on that trade and I was down $40 at one point. So it's not like a huge trade. Still going here, by the way, ACIU.
Starbucks rejecting the VWAP bounce trade. So I'm looking to get a little bit of short of Starbucks here and then look for a bounce to 98.50s. All right, took a little bit short there of Starbucks. 98.38s. Willing to add another 50 shares. Just needed to get a little bit higher there.
Here's Unity looking to make highs. About 12 cents away.
I added the wrong screen. Rookie producer Ryan over here. RPR, right. Rookie producer Ryan. I added the wrong screen.
Hey, you do the trading, man. No worries. I'll do the producing.
Oh, shoot. I got to call him today.
Yeah, you got to call him, bro.
I do have to call him. What's my schedule look like? Okay, he needs to add that.
Wisdom wants us to break down MSTR. I'm not in a trade, so I can take that right now.
Appreciate it.
So first of all, let me flip over to my screen. So first of all, today, Wisdom, seeing a nice little move up here, up about 3.7%. But let's go back to MSTR here. Let's take a look at the daily here. We're still kind of in this sideways range here. Now, I'm trying to factor in what, I'm trying to remember what your stance on Bitcoin is, and I can't recall it, so I don't want to speak for you. But obviously this 348, 350 level, providing some pretty decent resistance on MSTR. The sideways trading here, I'm actually kind of interested to see what the next move is. You can see we traded up to this area, really couldn't get above it. If this pullback doesn't last at all, I think you probably have another attempt at a 348 snap here, 350 snap. And just given the price of this stock, I mean, any type of like decent momentum run, you almost might have an 80-point run here if this goes and tests 400. I have no angle on this stock. I don't really watch this on a regular basis, so I don't really have any knowledge other than immediately looking at the chart and giving you my breakdown on it.
Amazon to the downside.
All right, I'm starting to get bigger short there on Starbucks. I just got 50 more shares. I have 98.37. I want to add to this, so I'm actually having another short setup limit at 98.40s here, but I wanted to take out 98.25s, go right down towards 98, then 97s. So I'm looking for a bigger trade here in Starbucks. We'll see what happens. Still got XOM short too. I just set the stop at that at the 104s. And if it comes down, it comes down. If it stops me out, it'll be for like literally 4 cents. So, hey, so be it. If not, it's a nice gain. So I'm looking for that nice little cut down. And either it's a big gain or small little cut out. That's what I like to trade.
So glad we took off Amazon majority of it. Not majority. I took half of it off at this 74s. Yeah, 128, 74s. Because now this would have given me a little bit of a panic. But nonetheless, we're still sitting pretty. We're going to have a stop loss at the break of 128, which is break even for us. But Unity made a nice little pop to the highs and then came right back down. That was interesting. So Unity made highs right there. and then it's coming right back down. Might be actually a good entry point for me. So I'm actually going to go ahead and go to Unity. Should I add? Should I add? Should I add? Nah, we'll leave it be. Never mind. I'm not going to add.
Bitcoin popping here. I know I just broke down my thought on MSTR. First of all, wisdom. I made you feel smart. You do fine on your own. You do just fine on your own, but I appreciate it. Hopefully that rundown made sense. I mean, I'm always looking for the bullish setup just because I'm a bullish trader. But Bro Jogan here saying, Mr. MSTR doesn't seem to track Bitcoin very well. I agree with that. And it's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily have a great angle on it. I do watch Bitcoin regularly, and I do kind of pay attention to those pops, but you're right. It doesn't necessarily just seem to move with Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin has a pretty decent pop right now, where I guess we're only up about 2%, but the past 5 minutes have been a pretty decent pop. If we take a look at MSTR here, when my chart resolves, here we go.
It's coming down. I'm looking for them to keep going lower. We'll find out what happens.
Maybe this is kind of going with Bitcoin, but it's not the same amplitude. In any case,
could still find a bounce here. Qs get back above 360s. That's what I'd be looking for, that like upside bounce. If not, I'm looking for them to wipe out here and the SQQs to go higher.
Kara here. Let's see if this gets back and retakes VWAP. 5 cents under 4 here. VWAP at 406.
All right, Starbucks starting to come down here, looking good here now, down towards 98.28. Now just to want that not to get back above VWAP and look for that to keep going lower. There's 98.24s there on Starbucks. Can this crack through 98s now? Just get whacked. The XOM, let's see how that's doing there. That did get back there towards the VWAP. Don't want to let that get back above those 104s, right? And so we got to be careful here. Got the stop set there on XOM at 104.5. So it went to right now 103.96. My average is that 96 right now. And so we'll see what happens if this goes back above 104.5s. Yeah, I want to get out of this. I don't want to let this get back above this trend line, right? And so that's a move back above 104. I want this to reject down through the 103.50s. Always know my outs, know where I'm going to get in, know where I'm going to get out. It's so important, right? And so now we're getting Starbucks down to 98.27s. First profit's going to be towards 98. Then I'm going to look for a little flush towards 97. All right, don't have to watch XOM too much. Going to go more focusing on the Starbucks chart because why? Because I had to stop for XOM, so I don't have to worry about that. If I get out, I can always get back into the name. One thing I don't want to do is lose too much on that position, so I built it up. Got to be smart with it. Same thing for Starbucks here too. It shouldn't necessarily lose on this position anymore, even though I'm slightly below VWAP. So maybe I get it back towards 98.50s, but it shouldn't go up through like 98.60s now. Looking for the takedown to 98. Let's see if we can get it.
Amazon not looking pretty as it's about 20 cents away from stopping me out.
All right, guys, I'll put my other chart here. I'll let you guys check out here from Moo, baby. You guys are seeing this go down to 98.18s. Let's take a little analysis. Look at the short volume that you get here from Moo. And I always like to point to different features, right? So if you go to the analysis, right? So there's quotes, then there's analysis. Go here to the daily short volume. Look how the daily short volume has been jumping in what? In Starbucks. Friday, I shorted it before. Now it's starting to get hit again. I'm looking to see if Starbucks can really get hit here and we start getting some shorts to win on Starbucks. See if this gets lower here towards the 98s and we see the Qs go down there through the 959. There it goes. It already hit 359 really quickly there. Qs coming down fast there, team. SQQQs are probably just taking off there. There's the 2061. SOX looked good earlier. Now it's starting to come back here. We'll look to see if that gets going here. Will NVIDIA come right back down? Look how NVIDIA didn't really have a strong day today. AMD not really having a strong day. Meta right back below. Could have been a little bit of a trap to 285. We'll see what happens if that really starts to break down. And of course, keep your eyes on the big names. Apple, can this just get a little bit of a bounce? Yeah, it could still do it. We'll see what happens. Microsoft going lower here. Let's see if we keep breaking through lows.
All right, I'm about to get stopped out in about 4 cents on Amazon, and there it is. So I got stopped out on Amazon out of that one.
Amazon going lower here, so I could see the market just getting hit here hard. Q's going lower. That's going to be looking good for Starbucks here. And for, let's see if I can get XOM to go lower. Sometimes it's been a little bit of an opposite. When the market was going up, oil was coming down. I might still get stopped out on that XOM. We'll see what happens there.
You've got the NQ testing the trend line. We'll see if they're able to go ahead and just break it. Looks like at the moment they are. As you see that move to the downside.
To the downside. Where's the Chewbacca noise when I need it?
There's the trend line break. Now let's see if it goes ahead and stays below.
There's my boy. All right, we'll see if I get stopped out in that XOM. I'm looking at Starbucks here to try to take some profits through the 98. Let's see if we can get through that and then take some profits out here.
Careful, folks. SPY is rolling here.
Yeah. Oh, let me go ahead and put y'all's chart up so then I can go ahead and do this.
SPY getting hit hard down to the downside there. We'll look to see if this keeps going lower. Look how this is going to change up. I'll go to the Explore tab. Watch how this will maybe go from green to red here on the way this looks. Look how NVIDIA is slightly just going into the red right there. We'll see if Microsoft and Apple and Amazon go into the red. But the SPY just pulling down here. Will this be a bounce? I'm not sure, guys, but definitely quick little downturn.
And guys, Ride, we talked about this, declaring bankruptcy, just melting up out of the open here. Nice little push off that open, back tested the VWAP and a push away from it. I'm not in this, but this is kind of acting out the plan that we joked about at the outset here.
Starbucks down to 98.10s, looking good from 98.38s. Just looking to see if we can break the 98s and go a little lower there. Then I can take some profits. Just looking for the cut down now. It's near support. You can start watching this on a 5-minute and not want it to break kind of the trend. So I can go to like 98.25, shouldn't be back above like 98.38s. So I can just use a 5-minute trend. This is kind of like a failed pattern here on the 5-minute to the bull side. Now we're pulling back. Of course, the one thing to keep an eye out for is kind of this support holding the 98.16s, but I'm looking for that 98 breakdown towards the lower levels. Always got to keep that in mind. We could always get a little bit of a cut through.
By the way, CNTG here may be curling up. We'll see if it can break this. What do we have here? 118. Maybe a move back towards the VWAP. Double dipping here, trying a little bit more. 116, Phil. We'll see if we go. If we fall away here on CNTG, I'll just cut it. I don't want to evaporate the gains that I've already made on this. I'm just looking to kind of extend those gains. If the move that I'm hoping for doesn't work, we'll just be out and wait for one that does. Through 116 there, size at 117. Really need to move through this 117 here.
Oil trying to come back and stop me out. We'll see what happens there.
CNTG taking 117 size.
Starbucks with a little bit of a pullback here. Pull back towards the VWAP. Look to see if that keeps fading off there.
CNTG through 119. Let's see if we can make a move back to VWAP here on CNTG.
See if NVIDIA goes lower here. Tesla's actually above VWAP. Just kind of mention a stock above VWAP.
Unity, by the way, even with all the turmoil, that's staying strong.
Ryan, that's a solid trade. If it doesn't work out, it's Ken Griffin. I appreciate that support, Crow. I actually met someone on the golf course who works for a company that's a competitor of Ken Griffin over the weekend, so that was fun. CNTG up to 120 now. A little bit more size there at 120.
Let's see if the Qs go back through 358.50s on this downturn.
Where is there?
359s really quickly. Looking for that 358.
Oh,
50
CNTG
takedown.
pulled through my buy. That sucks. I was thinking about taking it off there too. Big yank here.
Some buying coming in there at 359s on the Qs. Let's see if they're able to hold it there. Bid test again, right towards 359, and it bounces, guys. So it looks like they're trying to, at least looks like some algos trying to hold up the 359s right now.
Crow, as soon as I mentioned Ken Griffin, I got slammed. Just saying. Just saying. I'm just
Don't
saying.
mention it, bro. Don't mention it, bro. Don't mention it. That's what I would say. Gotta know when to hold them. Oh, when to fold them.
You've got the NASDAQ futures still holding on to the trend line. Haven't quite closed below on the 5-minute at the very least.
All right, we're going to look to see if we get that rejection in the Qs or a bounce in the Qs here. I think it's going to be very important. It's holding that 359. I've talked about that. There goes my buy stop for XOM. So out of that, as the Qs start to bounce a little bit here, and so does Starbucks here. So just got to keep an eye on it. Qs are trying to hold that 359 right now.
Becca calling out Lumen Technologies, ticker LUMN. It did go ahead and break 2, held 2, and now it's moving to the upside on that one. Not a ticker that I would trade, but it is making a move above 2. Keep an eye on resistance, possibly around this 210 area, as you can see.
And look for Lumen to trade back to that 230 consolidation area if it moves.
I still want to find a way to get back into Amazon, but at the moment I am disappointed in the trade. We went ahead and had gains on it. Then we went ahead and sold it slightly below break even. So still green, but unhappy with the way we not executed. Honestly, I don't think I executed bad. I think it was just unfortunate that the market yanked right there. And Amazon obviously went with it. But here's what I'm keeping an eye on. In terms of wanting to go short the futures on the NQ side, this is what I'm keeping an eye on, this trend line. And then I am still in Unity here as well.
Is rejecting the little up move here. It's just like in this little sideways consolidation here. Let's see if it makes a move to VWAP or back below 359. Starbucks already back to my entry there, 98.38. It got down to 98.06. Might have been a little bit greedy on the 6-cent profit there for the first profit on Starbucks, but hey, we'll see what happens. I'm looking for a bigger position in this one, a bigger gain on the day. You do have some advances, so let's see if Apple can make it all the way back, right? So Apple's a good indicator for the market. Qs back up above that little sideways spot. Talked about it. Will Apple get able to get right back up there? It's looking like it wants it. Nice rejection there on Starbucks, but it could still go right above that 98.40s through 98.50s. So I'm keeping a really close eye on it right now.
CNTG here really struggling to get back above this 116, 117 level. Not going to wait this out for too terribly long. I'm still up on the day on this ticker, but I just want to see if we can cross this here, and I'll probably just take it off.
That's tough to hear, Backstrap. But hey, hopefully it evens out, right? Hopefully the next time you make a mistake, it ends up being a gain. I've had that happen.
Like that rejection on Starbucks, I'm thinking about adding here, but I'm definitely starting to get to a sizing that I got to really be careful with. I'm really close to my entry. And so that's what matters now. If I do size bigger, I have to hold to a tighter stop.
CNTG right at 116 here.
Going for my 3 chart outlook, I got to keep an eye out on the Qs here. See if they reject 359. That's what I'm looking for. If it rejects 359 and goes right back through that level on the downside through 358.50s, yeah, that could work for me. Keeps holding 359s. There's some definite algo, like just holding it right there on the Qs. See, they wash.
All right,
it
I got
at
bailed out.
359.
I got bailed out on my second CNTG trade, so I'm going to take it off here. I'll wait and see if it sets up. Unless this thing really cracks and moves down, might not be over today, but having a very difficult time getting back to and through its VWAP. So that's something that we want to see change if we do take another trade here. Didn't really make any money off that. Took it off for a 1 cent gain. So nothing really there. I'm just glad I didn't give back the gains that I made earlier in the day.
All right, I added there to Starbucks another 50 shares, got 298.38s. Just got to really be careful with the risk now if this starts to push right back to the upside. So to do that, I'm just going to watch it. If it's in the upper 40s, it could break right out through 55s. Could risk those 55s or 56. All right, setting my stop at 98.55 there. Qs came right back up. So it cut through and then it did this move right back through. And so this is where it gets a little bit worrisome if it comes right back through VWAP and the shorts will get wrecked here. So you see it right here, like how it came right back through that 359. It was battling that, give that look. Now you're getting that reversal action back towards the upside. This is where it can hit VWAP really quickly and right back up to 360s.
That trend line held. I mean, just look at how beautifully it did as we go right to the upside on the NQ on the futures side. And there is Unity. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit here. Now my position is an average price on Unity at 39.76s. And then I'm also paying attention to Amazon because a part of me does want to get back in, but not until and unless it breaks and holds above 128.
Just watching the Qs to see if we're going to get back towards 360s or 358.50s. Very important to kind of look at that right now. I feel like that's going to determine the market even today.
Here's BDTX. I know a couple of you are still watching this. This was on our list here from this morning. BDTX really struggled to get above that 345, kind of pulling back here. The next spot to watch, let me actually mark this off because this might not be done. Next spot to watch here is going to be, oops, I took the wrong tool. That's fun. 320. That spot to the downside, we'll see.
Starbucks back down below my entry here. I'm thinking about adding even more, but man, just got to be slow. And then if I do add more and more, the risk has to get tighter and tighter. The big thing for me is the Q's not cutting through the lows. If I saw like NVIDIA just put a big tank bar, then maybe I'd take a shot of adding. Like I'm not really looking to short NVIDIA, but I'm looking at it like an indicator right now. This is not by VWAP and pretty weak right now. So you see how that's holding like a resistance right there. Support right underneath it. What's going to happen? A move to VWAP or a cut down? Q's right at the VWAP right now, battling. Starbucks is getting interesting for me. Just made a little bit of a down move there, but could recover right back up through 98.50s. So I'm fighting myself to either get short more and then risk less. But hey, I think I need the market to determine that right now. All right, guys, like always, you guys can check out Moo and check out these analytics that you guys see here. I definitely think that you guys have a lot of features that you guys should be checking out here, especially in the Explore tab. I always go to the best performing to find what's doing well. Of course, Carnival up today, Norwegian Cruise Line. We're seeing some broadcasting names out there, Electronic Gaming, Roblox doing well also. So that one's doing pretty well. NetEase, Airlines, 2.18%. Hawaiian Holdings up 7%. American 3%. United 3%. Delta putting out some guidance, definitely helping them today, up about almost 3%. And then Wall Street Bets with Express getting a little bit of a lift there. Palantir up also. We'll see what happens to these names.
Real quick here. Will is asking Ryan thoughts on MLTX. So I've actually been watching this because Smoked Tuna's all over this. I would say Tuna's analysis here is actually pretty good. And I don't mean to say actually pretty good. Tuna's analysis is regularly pretty good here. One of the things we saw in MLTX is that right out of the gate here, we traded down to the top end of this sideways trading area, and we bounced pretty nicely from there. We actually took out the VWAP. We've back tested the VWAP here. So for a next move, what I'd really like to see is the top end of this candle taken out. Let's call it 49.50 thereabouts for another upside move. I know it's enticing because the range on this thing is ridiculous. Traded all the way up to like 107 and change day before yesterday. I don't think we're going to get that, but maybe we can induce some volume pop and some momentum if we take this high out. That's what I'd be looking at on that, Will.
Q's making an up move here to 360s, trying to break it and then holding right there. So I'm going to actually not let Starbucks get above the VWAP and hold here because the Q's keep pushing through 360s. I'm going to end up getting stopped out here on Starbucks. So I know my outs now and just got to hold towards them.
I want to sell the ads that I have on Unity at 40.50s. What's up?
ENVX, this actually took the next leg. We talked about this. We talked about this breaking this top off here at 14.50. We actually back tested this. It actually took out the high and kept going. Not something that we've seen a lot out of some of these smaller names. But man, ENVX, nice little move here. Wish I hit this one. I'm still happy with how I traded some of the other names here today, but ENVX would have just been a bigger winner.
All right, let's see if the Qs just make a big move down to 359 here. And of course, I'm just leaning to the bear side because I'm bearish right now, but that's what I'm looking for. Not above 360s. Above 360s starts pushing some of the stocks back to the upside. And if you do get that push, just look for the bullish type of names that are out there, right? Tesla's above VWAP, just to kind of mention a bullish name that's above VWAP. Google's above VWAP. Apple's above VWAP.
SOUN above VWAP. Really for SOUN, break of 419, 420. Might send it to 435.
Sounds
Is this
dead
pushing
to
the
me,
high
man.
end of the range?
It sounds dead to me, man.
Yeah, I get it.
She's dead to me. She's sound off. Could keep going though today. At least it's holding. At least it's holding. Let's go to the Qs here. Let's see if we get that 359 break. We're back down to 359.38. It was a little bit of a down move here. Let's see if I can get that 359 break to 358.50s. Start seeing some downside action come in this. Starbucks, I'm not going to add any more. I still got 200 from 98.38s. We'll look for that to break 98s and then keep going lower. We'll see what happens on the Qs here if they want to come down and break there, or they want to just hang in here and then recover right back to the upside. Of course, talked about different names there that you can watch.
I got freaked out because my trade sound went off and I didn't realize I had something out there. Unity sold the ads that we had at 40.40s. I am out. I am back down to 50 shares. But the ad that we had, I have sold out of it.
SOUN took 420.
All right. Got to find my PowerPoints on VWAP to help you guys out. Just give me a second, guys. Take a little learning lesson in a little bit. VWAP, baby. All right. What's that at?
I'm sorry.
Don't say you're sorry.
I'm sorry for yawning, folks. Normally, maybe I didn't have enough coffee this morning.
That's a write up.
A write up.
Never enough coffee, man.
Take care of
Never
yourself,
enough.
Judge.
Wow.
Good to see you again, my man.
I haven't heard that term in a while.
Never
Right up?
enough coffee.
Yeah.
That means you're staying on task.
Do we get written up here? I don't even know.
Yeah, you can get. Yeah, just
Wait,
like
really?
any job. Yeah.
Man.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Never been written up.
There you go,
It
Zunaid.
reminds me of like silent lunch. You know, it's like, hey, man.
Silent lunch.
Yeah, back in the old days.
I remember one time back in the old days, this was middle school. I thought I was super clever, and I was at recess, and there are, of course, I don't know if they're actual teachers. Maybe I think one of them was a PE teacher that did recess duty just to make sure the kids are okay when they're outside playing in the field. And I was going across the parking lot, and I yelled at another kid to kiss my asphalt.
Okay.
Because I thought I was going to be hysterical. The teacher immediately grabbed my arm after I said that, and then let go of it a couple of seconds later as she processed what I said. I didn't roll the dice trying to do that again, but I think that if you were to do that now, I don't know. I don't think it would have gone the same way, but that's a story I'll never forget from recess back. God, that must have been 5th, 6th grade. That was a long time ago. I was such a nuisance back then. My goodness.
Good old days.
All right, guys, and we'll see what happens.
Yo,
in stocks today.
Beans and Rice asking, hey, Ryan, how often do you go to a Cubs game? We need to meet at the Cubby Bear for a Benzinga meetup. All right. So first of all, I go to a Cubs game probably once a year. I'm an introvert. I like watching sports from my television, but Wrigley Field is an experience that everyone needs to do. It's really incredible. If you did want to go to a Cubs game or meet at the Cubby Bear, I would absolutely be open to that. I have no plans to attend a Cubs game anytime soon, but we're in the summer here, so maybe I can do that. And if we pick a day game, maybe I can play hooky and get off a little early in the afternoon.
Ah, a little hooky.
You rebel, Ryan.
Someone's getting written up.
Oh, Ryan, that would be a hate crime nowadays. Yeah, maybe I would have offended the asphalt, right? Ryan, you will get famous on YouTube and you will get your own TV show. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm ever going to be famous, and I'm okay with that. Yes, Leafs game, Crow. Okay, so never been to a Leafs game. I would love to go to a Leafs game. Any original 6 team, I would love to go to. I hear that Toronto is very, very expensive. I hear a lot of those seats are owned and then they're kind of given out. I would love to go to a Leafs game at some point. That's not far from the Benzinga office either.
All right, considering adding here on Starbucks, I just need to see the Qs wipe out through 359.
And Mitch, I'm sorry for doing this here. I know we're trying to focus on stocks. Last sports question. Mitch, I got to know, what do you think of Ellie De La Cruz? Jesse here seems to be a Reds fan. This kid,
he's a monster.
He is a monster. It's unbelievable what he's doing over there. And for Joey Votto to come back to that lineup and be playing really, really well. Reds are a fun team to watch right now. This kid can play. This De La Cruz kid can play.
Freaking Hendricks just literally made me hit the sell button. I added to Starbucks. Because Hendricks. Oh,
Did
man.
Hendricks really fat finger a trade?
Yeah, he just fat.
I
think this is the first time that
we got to go full screen. Let's see what Hendricks does here for Mitch.
Oh, man. He just literally pushed it, bro. I was like, you guys heard me when I was like, what the? Like,
yeah.
Because there was a reason why. Because he was like all over the keyboard. And then he goes and then just hits the mouse. Oh, good Lord. I think he wanted to short Starbucks himself. So we'll see what happens. Thanks, bro. Thanks, Hendricks. It was a good one. We'll see if it works out. I actually got to even replace my stop to 250 now because I'm like, oh man, I was gonna go for it, but I mean, this is what happens when you have your hand really close to the trigger there. My man said, I'm going for it. Yo, he changed so much like on this prop account. Like now everything says working orders. I don't even have a position anymore. Like, yo, you hit some buttons.
Sydney's on it here. Cats hit mice.
Love it.
All right, we'll see what happens. Move back up above 360. That's where we got to be careful there. Good Lord.
Come on, Amazon. Come on, Amazon.
All right, I'm at 36. I want to see a little pop through 40s. Looking for that takedown through 98s already, but man, it's been a battle here at the VWAP. Battle at the VWAP.
Definitely worth shouting out Jay Rice's reminder here. Jay Rice says, reminder, the algos are there to seek out your stops. Jay, the last couple of times that I have placed stops, they have been hunted, just straight up stop hunting. Some of those stocks hunted my stop and then bounced back. And the initial trade plan that I had was still good. This is a good reminder here. Good reminder here from Jay. Becca calling out Ride. Of course, that's Lordstown. What are we doing here on Ride? Still pushing up on Ride. Go figure, guys. Bankruptcy is a way to trade your stock. They're up almost 100% off the lows. This thing printed 107. What did it print in the pre-market here? Pre-market low of 92 cents. We are up over 100% off that pre-market low. What a move. I see Mara popping up on my scanner here. Oh my. Bitcoin is kind of stabilized here. Mara moving. How's Riot doing? Riot had very, very similar formation. Look at these pullbacks to VWAPs and bounce here. This would be the trade. I tend to use alerts versus stops. Jay, I try to do this too. It gets a little bit more difficult with some of the quick intraday trading that I do, which is why sometimes I just manage it. That's why you see me staring at the screen when I'm in some of those trades as opposed to relying on stops. But overall, I think that this is really, really good advice, especially for newer traders. As long as you're not buying garbage, alert yourself when a stock comes into a key level as opposed to just taking a loss there or something like that. I like this.
It's to each his own. It's to each his own. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily say that's always going to be the right way because the truth is, it's what works for you, right?
Well, Mitch, there's if there was one right answer, wouldn't everyone be doing it? The reality is that it's a little bit different for it's different on the vehicle that you have too. If I have Apple, I'm going to put a stop out there. My 100 share order for Apple's not going to get hunted. Who cares?
Exactly. And also what you mentioned there, right, is let's say if it was like a $3 stock and you had 1,000 shares, right? Well, I mean, alert might be late, right, on a $3 stock, right? Especially it depends on what you trade. Jay doesn't really trade those penny stocks. I don't see him ever trading
he
those
doesn't.
penny stocks.
No,
so
he definitely
that's a little bit
doesn't.
different. That gives him a little bit of time to get to the stock, right? But there's some people that, let's just be honest, like let's say like the trades that Crow trades, I think at some point, you know, you have to be right on the stock watching it. But it all depends on what stock you're trading, guys. So understand what area you trade and where the strengths and weaknesses are there.
Guys, BDTX here, multiple chat members calling BDTX out here right at that 345 spot and through now 347 here on BDTX. 362 is going to be your VWAP if we make it up there.
The battle in the Qs is ridiculous here. It just wants to go higher. It seems like it, guys. It's on a stair step higher, but I'm still in this trade on Starbucks. Starbucks is stepping lower, but one fast move on the Qs and this could all turn around. So just keep your eyes on the Qs, man. I feel like it's trying to choose its way. The algos are battling right now, filling in a lot of volume. Wait till we see this direction. At least that's what I'm trying to do to keep trading, right? And so you can see how tight the volatility has gotten right now. That's pretty tight. Like we're not moving much since like what? Now 26 minutes, 30 minutes, like sideways action here. Let's see what happens, team.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and head out and get ready for all access. I'll see y'all in about 19 minutes or so. Hopefully y'all made money. Unity's still going, possibly breaking out the 40-50 later on today. But Mitch, Ryan, I will see y'all soon and then tomorrow as well. See ya.
All
Take
right,
care of yourself,
Zunaid's out of
Zunaid.
here. You guys smash the like out there, team.
Mitch, just a reminder here and a reminder to all of the viewers here. Next week, I am traveling to Detroit for our quarterly meeting and golf outing, which means Wednesday I will not be live. Wednesday is my flight. I actually already checked with Zunaid, and he will be here.
Invite me, man. They
Mitch,
don't even invite me,
every
man.
BZ employee is invited to the quarterly. Every one of them. You could still book now and make it.
Might have to.
Just send Luke a message or a text message. By the way, I want to draw your attention to something here. This is a loss that I took, but the only reason I took the loss is because I didn't trade it well. This is a shout out here to chat member Becca, who has been really on fire with finding new plays for everybody. If you remember ANNX, if we take a look at this daily chart, remember we actually broke above this and we broke into this gap. And then for the next 3 days, ANNX developed a pattern here that I think is tradable. So let's zoom in and take a look at it. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. You can see what we did here today. We closed yesterday at about 335. Stock opened and plunged. Okay, traded a little bit lower. The actual low print was on the second move, not that initial move right out of the open. And then it's grinded back up the rest of the day. Now let's go back to yesterday and see what yesterday was like. Well, look at that. Yesterday, we had almost the same action. ANNX opened up at 348, sold all the way down to 315. And then the rest of the day, this kind of lifted up all the way back up to 340. Let's look at the day prior to that. You seeing a pattern here? ANNX opening at 363, trading down to a 331 low, and then trading back up to about where it was at. Before resuming lower. So this pattern here, although this trade didn't work yet, it might still, if it bounces and fills that gap, that might still work. But I've noticed that there is this pattern, one, down, 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 and then a grind back up. So I have no position in this. I took my loss yesterday. But I'll be looking to see if this pattern holds up. And I'm going to keep ANNX on my watch list because I think eventually, if you get any type of good volume pop into this gap, there is a chance at filling this. So just something I wanted to bring up here. It was a really good spot. The trade did not work out for me, but in that loss was a lesson. And I think that I actually might be able to hit this. So I wanted to see if this took place again today. It did. We'll see how this trades tomorrow.
All right, guys, I just got back into the SQQQs, taking a shot off the 2045. 2044 is going to be my stop there. I got a long there off 2057. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see if it gets a nice little up move, looking to see if the Qs go higher. Starbucks is looking good here. I just wanted to break 98s and go lower. If that can happen, we're going to be looking pretty good there on Starbucks. You guys can see it here at 98.10s. Just looking for that breakdown through the 98s. If it goes to the 98s, there's some volume waiting at 97.90. I'll probably look to get some volume out there at 97.90s, somewhere in there, and then look for a little bit move lower through the 97 later in the day. We'll find out what happens. Also taking a little bit of a shot again in the SQQQs. Lost earlier. Going to take another one.
Took a little ENVX here real quick on this pullback from the highs, thinking it might go through highs. I have pretty small size, so I'm okay holding this down to about 1535-ish. If it doesn't go, let's see if it goes here. ENVX. We're looking for this to take out the highs. This has been strong all day. This is only a scalp. I don't expect a monster run. If it does pop through this, I'd probably take those gains. Let's see if we get this here. Jay, I'm going to address your Rocket Mortgage Classic post here in a second. ENVX pulling back here. See what we get here on ENVX.
Got down to 98.08 again and already bouncing there in Starbucks. So it's getting me a little bit frustrated that I'm not being able to take some gains already. But hey, it is what it is. Just got to stay with the trade and see what happens. Trying to bring up some VWAP study talk here, but man, I'm still into these trades, so I'm trying to focus.
If I keep interrupting you, I'm sorry. Just let me know when you want to go ahead of that. VWAP is
Oh,
really,
you're good,
really
my
important.
friend. I do want to talk about that, but you know how it is when you're watching these day trades. Yesterday, I lost out on some profits because I was just like not focusing on my trades there. So I don't want that to happen again here.
Oh, ENVX big pull, but a bounce. Let's see. Let's see here, ENVX. You gonna go lower?
Starbucks already coming back here, starting to try to recover and hold a 5-minute low. And so that's not the good outlook there. It's holding the 5-minute low around 98.15. So I'm looking for that to reject 98.30s and come right back down. But just got to be slow and meticulous today in Starbucks if I want that big gain. Now SQQQs looking like they want to get through the 2060s. That will help if we can get the Qs to finally break 359. Been looking for this for a while now, but it hasn't done it. It's just been chopping around there. Look, I'll show you guys that again. We've been talking about this, just the battle at the VWAP and how even on the 5-minute, it's just battling here, battling. Will it reject VWAP and come right back down? It's a hard one here, team. You guys see Starbucks here on the right-hand side. Moo. Can we take down that 98? 98.15 come in. There's the Qs at 359. That's going to help. SQQQ's going higher too. So that's looking good for me off the 2057s. Looking for that to break through the 2075, maybe even get up to the 30s today. So a nice little 50-cent profit wouldn't be too bad there on the upside. Let's see if Starbucks can finally break through that 98 and they can take some profits. The bounces here are ridiculous off the 98.15. We keep seeing bounces off there. If not, I'm going to just have to take the gains and run.
Still watching this ENVX, trying to do two things at once. Hope this doesn't burn me. Jay was saying, here we go on ENVX. Jay was saying, speaking of golf, the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, ENVX going higher here. Let me see. Let me just kind of watch this. I'm trying to do two things at once.
I get you up, bro. There you go.
ENVX, come on.
Keep doing your thing,
Come
man.
on, pop above the high. Jay, I'm going to get to this in a sec. Hang on a sec. Let's just pop above the high here on ENVX. Come on, ENVX. You got one more push to take out that 63 spot. Coming right back down to the entry.
Whew, will the
All right.
Qs go lower? No, they don't. Hit the 359 and bounce, man. Right on the kisser. It's going to be a hard day, guys. It's going to be a hard day. Be careful out there, team. It's one of those days.
Come
You
on,
got to be careful.
ENVX. We're right here. I just want to address this comment. This is killing me. It's killing me. We're running out of time. I got a comment I want to address. I'm watching a trade that looks like it's trying to go.
I want to talk VWAPs, but hey, the trades have just gone to stationary here. Don't want to get going, but I'll tell you one thing. My ticking time bomb's going off on Starbucks. I'm like, man, if the Qs get back above VWAP, it's just so frustrating to see that right now. The algos are trading right now. I'll tell you that much. Retail's getting that move up, down, move up, down, move up, down. If your stops are close, you're probably getting just wrecked.
I set a stop here so that this trade can't go red on me. Let me address Jay's comment. Speaking of golf, the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit this week, Raz in the Pro-Am. Are you telling me that Raz is playing in the Pro-Am, or are you asking me? Because I don't think that he is. He didn't say anything to me, but if he is, that's really cool. Also, going to do a little gambling on that PGA event. Hopefully the Detroit connection brings me some luck here. Okay, Jay, we got it. We did it. Here it goes on ENVX. Let's go. Let's go. Take that off. Decent day here today, folks.
That's what I like to hear, Ryan.
Decent day, folks. Oh, Jay, you were questioning. I do not think he's playing in that. In fact, let me screenshot that and
can I send that to him?
What?
Send that to him. Tell him he needs to get out there. I think he played in one of them. All right, we'll see what happens in Starbucks. We'll see what happens in the queues. Something tells me that it still wants up here. So you're seeing this come right back up after doing a wick to the downside, but it's still staying within the pattern. So just be careful out there, team. Yeah, Jay said I think he played 1 year too. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, guys, real quick lesson on VWAP, right? That's the only way I'm going to probably be able to do it today. I'll do a little bit of a deeper dive on it tomorrow. And if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that, I definitely go to Start Swing Trade. But I do want to at least bring up some kind of information here on the VWAP. And so a lot of times, why do I like to use the VWAP? So a lot of times when I'm using the VWAP, I use what's called the VWAP fade. There's multiple strategies off the VWAP, so I'm going to go ahead and bring up some of those right now. Of course, you guys can take a look into them to learn a little bit more. There's VWAP fade, there's VWAP bounces, there's reversions to the mean, right? We're talking, mastering the VWAP fade here. This is just going to be shorting into VWAP, right? And so I did this with beginner trading back in the day. So shout out to them. If you guys have never heard of beginner trading, definitely tell you guys to check out that channel. I used to be a part of beginner trading, right? So definitely check that out. Let's keep going. We'll get into a little bit of the VWAP fade outlook. So the average volume, it's the average price weighted by volume, right? And so when we're looking at moving averages, a lot of the times we talk about moving averages all the time, the simple, the 200, the 50, right? You hear people talk about this all the time, right? So one thing that I would definitely tell you guys to take a look at is understanding what the VWAP really is. It's the average price a security has traded throughout the day based on both volume and price. So it's really tick volume times tick price. And so if there's more volume for a certain price, it's going to lean more towards that price, right? And so it's pretty much, I call it like kind of the line in the sand, right? Between the bulls and the bears on the day. A lot of the times you're battling algorithms to try to get a better entry than the VWAP. If I could get a better entry than the VWAP, I'm going to feel a lot better because I'm essentially beating the machines in my head, right? That's the way I look at it for the VWAP fade. Let me keep going so I can give you guys a little bit more. Of course, we use this terminology for trading psychology. We use this off of resistance and supports. We're using this because what you're seeing is a break of support and then a retrace to that level that's going to start using it as a resistance area. So very important to know exactly where your resistance and support levels are if you want to attack this. What's the strength in the strategy? It takes advantage after short traders have entered. It gets in after long traders have bailed out and should be bailing on the bounce, right? So like if they got washed out through a level, they're going to go ahead and you short that level where the longs are essentially getting out on the little bit of a bounce. It allows you to have specific entries. It also gives you an ability to have multiple entry opportunities, known profit targets, and it's used by many algos and retail traders. So take a look into all that. Of course, I can show you guys a little bit more of this presentation. I'm going to quickly roll through here. The big thing you're looking for is a bearish trend at the open. It should come with a big washout through that pre-market support. Pay attention to level 2 to see where the new support and bounces there. Draw horizontal lines on that newfound support and always know your complete plan when you're going into it. A lot of the times I'm coming in these with a 2-to-1 outlook, looking for that little cut down, a move right back to the trend. Right here is the VWAP, that purple line. So you can short at that purple line, risk right up towards the next resistance and look for it to come back through the support and ride that down to the next support level. That's the way we go about it with the VWAP. I hope that you guys enjoy learning a little bit more about VWAP. I'm going to definitely give you guys more and more of how you go about it, the first profit, the second profit. I have a lot more in this education for you guys. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a peek at the VWAP lessons that you guys can be learning. And I've even done a video on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll get you guys that. I'll throw it up in the link in the chat in just a second as we switch over to all access. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up my trading action also here. Let's take a look at what happens. Will the Qs break through the 359 today? That's definitely going to be an important outlook here. the battle's still on. We don't know what's going to happen. Ryan, any last outlook on the market before we wrap it up here?
No, pretty decent morning here. Again, a lot of what I'm looking at for the broader market is where we finish, what that candle is going to look like at a close. I'm still in a bearish camp here. I still think the market has more headwinds than it does tailwinds, and we should inevitably trade lower, but I'm not going to fight the trend. I'm not going to fight what the price tells us. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be watching today: SPY, Qs, and then some of the ETFs that we use to trade those.
All right, guys, and just to kind of mention my top watch today, Starbucks to the short side. Now we're down there towards 98.06. I'll look for this to continue. Thank you, Hendrix, for doing a little ad button for me today, and we'll see if we get into the green. Like always, you guys can check out Moo. You guys see the Moo in the back there. You guys see it right here, and always the QR code in the top corner. And if you deposit up to $5,000 right now, you can get a new share of Tesla and Google. You might want to get that fast because they might be coming down here towards the close. We'll find out about that. Hit the like button. If you guys enjoyed live trading, we're going to kick it to Zunaid now as we bring you guys over to All Access. Taking down my charts. Have a good one, Ryan.
Take care.
I'll let you take over, Zunaid. Do your thing, my friend.
All right. Appreciate it, Mitch, and hope you guys enjoyed live trading. We are going to go to All Access. By the way, before we do, you have MLTX. I did go ahead and break 50. I'm in on that one, but we'll set a stop loss below 45 and keep it moving here. You guys know that we do love having conversations with executives from publicly traded companies, so we can have your questions answered. So we'd love for you to be active in the chat, as we've got a great interview coming up today. It's going to be with John, who's the Vice President of Sales and Corporate Development of Vicinity Motor Corp. Ticker on NASDAQ is VEV. All Access starts right now. John, good morning. How are you?
Great. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. It's always a great day when you get to talk to an EV company. So I'm excited to get our conversation going. But for the folks at home that may not be aware of who you are, what you do, explain it to me like I'm 5. What is it that your company does?
Yeah, so we're a vehicle manufacturer. We started in 2008. We're not a startup. We started with in the bus business. We make a mid-size vehicle, 30, 35 foot, 38 foot. So it's not like the real big ones. It's a right-sized. We came out with a diesel, then moved a little more sustainably into a compressed natural gas model. And then the last couple of years, we went into the EV space with the bus, and those deliveries are just starting. And then once we got a little bit better with the EV tech, we've just rolled out a Class 3 commercial vehicle, which is it can be used for deliveries or landscaping or municipal. So we're the first purpose-built Class 3 EV out there. So really excited about things.
Yeah, you mentioned the bus part. We'll get to the truck here in a second. I've had a lot of conversations with EV companies, more on the consumer side, right? But y'all aren't really focused on that. And why is that? Do you feel like it's oversaturated, or is there something else that you believe gives you an advantage on the other side?
Yeah, so if you look at our strategy, it's always been to be more in that mid-size, right? So we don't want to be competing with the large OEMs. On the bus space, we came out with a mid-size, which is like a 30-foot versus 40. So really, there's not enough room or volume for the big guys to be after that. But for a smaller company like ours, it's a great space. Same thing with the commercial vehicle. We don't want to be in automotive, in general, going against the Fords and things like that. So the Class 3 and up to 5, there's about 500,000 trucks sold per year in that space. So it makes a lot of sense for us. So in both those areas, there's a nice market for us to go after. And we think it's a home run, really. We're kind of the only one making that mid-sized bus if you look at it. And then same thing with the truck. There's just not a lot of players in the market. So for a smaller company like ours, it's really a unique opportunity.
A lot of companies that are successful, if you zoom out, you can kind of see a turning point where things just started going upwards and they never stopped. Looking at your sales and, looking at the past and where you are currently, it looks like you're getting closer and closer to that key turning point with your sales and momentum, especially with the VMC 1200 trucks beginning to roll off the line. What's the sentiment now for your company in the future as well, do you believe, because of the success you've had?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at us, you know, a lot of the companies in the EV space had some challenges over the last few years, COVID, supply chain, those types of things. And I think we're beyond most of that. We put a lot of work into getting these vehicles out. Our backlog's $150 million. Our current market cap's around 40 million. So, you know, we're really excited. You know, we've built a new facility. The first trucks will be running through there in July. So, you know, that's one of the, you know, one of these things. So we kind of came out with the EV vehicle, the truck last year and a half ago with a prototype. We built the first 20, got a really large order for 1,000 of them. We've just built the next, we built 20, and then now we've got the next 50, which are going out currently. And we're looking to ramp up. We're building another 100 currently, and then we'll go to 100 a month. So that's happening on that side. And we can continue to see demand on the other side for the buses. And there's some nice backlog there. And finally, we're working through that supply chain issue. So those deliveries are really starting basically right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you addressed that, because that was my biggest concern. As you mentioned, you have 150 million and the backlogs that you announced, I believe, in Q1. So it's kind of like, hey, when do folks actually take delivery of it so those sales can quote unquote be finalized? But I love the insight on that one. Let me take a step back here. Now let's talk about like the macro landscape of EV adoption. I know I always tell a story to my viewers here about how I went to a wedding in a nice little Tesla, but we got home an hour late because we had to charge it up and there was a line and this, that, and the other. And it just wasn't as easy as just filling up gas and getting back home. How do you feel about making sure that there is enough charging stations and everything else, especially for buses and commercial vehicles like the ones that you're in the business with? Do you feel like, how close are we to making sure we can get to a one-stop charging station without waiting in line for hours, if not less?
Yeah, there's two ways to look at that. I mean, really, for the commercial vehicles, it's not like you're going to be out there. These are pretty much designed to, charge at night, and then you can go out. You can get, 150 miles on it. So for the class 3, it's ideal for last mile deliveries, for contractors, for utility, for landscaping businesses, and you can also use the battery, for your tooling and some of those things there. So the infrastructure is important, and I know when I'm speaking with government, I work with Clean Energy Canada. I've also worked with the government in Washington State, and I know that the infrastructure of putting in the charging systems is important, and it's on the way. So again, the current level of EV adoption is so low as the infrastructure keeps coming in. It's it's an important piece. And I guess the other part to be really thinking about with our vehicle is we have it's basically onboard charging. So it's like your Tesla. So you can charge it with a phase 2 power at home, like off your dryer plug. So you don't have to have a phase 3 $500,000 power system to charge the bus or the trucks.
Yeah. I know earlier you mentioned, please correct me if I misunderstood, that the big players don't necessarily want to be in the space, but a company like yours, you can easily go ahead and find yourself an advantage. Are there any competitors? I don't need to, know their names, but like what kind of gives you the edge over your competitors that might be trying to do exactly what you're doing?
Yeah. So if you look at the class 3 truck right now, most of the other vehicles out there, there's a couple of players that are in there, but what they're doing is a conversion. So they're taking a diesel engine out, then putting in an EV powertrain. So we're building it with the EV power system in there already. So that's going to save considerable amount of money. And again, we're excited to be in the space. We're going to be coming out with some new products, class 5, and Isuzu's in that market as well. But again, we've gone up against big players before, and again, it's okay to have competition. In fact, it's usually pretty good because there's a way to have a comparison.
Yeah. Of course, pushes you to be better, no question about it. Last question for me before I turn it over to you. We've talked about the past. We've talked about where you currently are with the backlog and things like that as well. But what kind of excites you the most as we gear towards the second half of 2023? What should our viewers, potential investors keep their eye on when it comes to your company?
Yeah, we're a show me story at this point. I mean, you've got the backlog. We're basically priced at breakup value right now. We've built a new facility in Washington, for our expansion, in North America. and that's up and operating. Trucks are going through there finally, like this, basically in July. So that's a huge, catalyst for us to be able to move product through there. And then, again, working through the backlog that we've had. We've got quite a few buses, like 60 right now, in different phases of being built, waiting on some parts. Those are starting to flow through right now, so that's really going to strengthen the balance sheet. And working through that and really get to more of a consistent quarterly revenue number, ramping up the trucks, getting more bus orders, that type of thing. So it's a real good time for us.
And, one last one I did lie before I turn it over to you for real. In terms of the EV space, I know we talked about, companies that competition is good and different things like that. When it comes to this space, though, what do you think is like one of the reasons that companies fail, that they kind of overlook or that they underestimate in terms of challenges? And if you can answer, how are y'all best suited to overcome those challenges?
Yeah, there's always, this is a challenging market to be in, right? Building vehicles. So we started in 2008. We brought new products to market. We've got existing infrastructure of sales, service, support, warranty. So we've been doing this, and so I think, and also winning those customers, like the larger customers, like on the bus side or the municipal side, they just won't take an order. Like with us, we had to put up a multi-million-dollar bond, for the first orders. So, getting the trust of the municipalities that you're going to be around is a huge one. So there's a huge barrier to entry there. And I think, when if you're a startup and you're okay, we're going to build this vehicle, but then there's all the challenges of servicing the customer afterwards. So we're really working on, continuing to strengthen our organization so we can service the customers properly and make the best products out there. But we can't worry too much about what the competition's doing. We have to make sure that we're making the right vehicles for our customers.
Gotcha. And then, John, I want to kind of turn it over to you. We've talked about the past, the present, and what we can look forward to in terms of second half of 2023. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk to our viewers about that I didn't get a chance to bring up?
Yeah, I just think, if we've got a huge opportunity here. There's a lot of EV companies out there that haven't been able to perform like we all expected, through this the last few years. So I'm just really looking forward to turning that top line and starting to make some profitable quarters and continue to grow.
Awesome. Well, hey, we appreciate you joining us. That is John, who is the Vice President of Sales and Corporate Development over at Vicinity Motor Corp. Ticker on NASDAQ is VEV. Thank you so much, John, for joining us. And I look forward to more conversations once y'all report results in terms of second half of 2023.
Right on. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. You take care. And we appreciate you, the chat, for joining us for All Access as well. It's always great when you get to have executives answer our questions. And of course, if y'all had any, we would have had a chance to answer them as well. We appreciate you for joining for All Access, and we'll see you next time.